Alrighty. Sorry, I was trying out some new things. All right, so welcome my fellow dadpreneurs. Welcome my fellow coaches. As promised, right now I go live and I will be talking about my live interview show, my journey doing my live interview show. As soon as you come on, just say hi real quick so I know who there is, and that always helps. And share it if you think that this is also going to be helpful for your friends. I'm going to start talking about my early beginnings, which will shine some light. What's going on, Paul? Thanks for joining me, man. And then I will step to the halfway journey, so to say, because I made a lot of changes there, and then how I'm doing things now. And that will give you a light on why I change things, and that will definitely give you head start, because there's definitely things that I would recommend you do not do, right? So let's start off with the first thing. So when you decide, like, okay, I want to do live interviews, the first thing you have to decide is, okay, what software am I going to use, among other things. We're going to talk about the other ones in a minute. So the first thing is software, and my choice was Zoom. I heard people talking about it. It's great, blah, blah. Okay, so Zoom is $50, $60, somewhere around that journey. So I decided that was worth it, right? I had to be real quick because everything went real quick. I didn't have a lot of time to think. So I chose Zoom, and I choose to make a landing page. So I would, with the landing page, hi Nadia, thanks you're here. I would use the landing page to get people on, and they have to inscribe themselves to get on Zoom, right? So that was how that worked, and then I would share that, and I would ask the people that I would interview to share it as well. Okay, and then what I would also do is every single Friday, as early as possible, I would make 7 video invites to get people on my show. And to prepare for these 7 invites, what I would do is I would check out every single individual that I would want on my show, right? And those people I would check out a little bit, find just how they are, who they are, what they've accomplished, etc. And that's how I start, right? So for Akbar Sheikh, for example, for the guys that are in my group, I checked them out first. I said, hey, congratulations, all your successes, absolutely fantastic. Listen, your dad, I would love to have you on my show. Would you be interested? This is my mission. You know, I'm trying to help 1 million fathers to become fearless, and I think you're a great asset to the show. And he said yes, right? So that was pretty cool for, somebody that is, for me, like way up there. I got really excited. And that showed how how simple it is. It's not easy, but it kind of was simple, right? So the first thing is, if you want people on your show, ask. If you want to stand out from the other people that just ask, make a video invite. 1 minute. 1 minute, tops 90 seconds. Tops, but 1 minute, around 1 minute. Could be even a little less, right? First, you talk about them. Then you say what value it has for them to come on the show. Then you talk a little bit about your mission. And then you say, like, looking really forward to getting you on the show. That, for me, really helped. And got me with guys like, as I said, Akbar Sheikh, Antonio Centeno from Real Man, Real Style. This guy has 2.5 million subscribers on his YouTube channel, which was insane for me. I think I had 2. Me and my mother, I think, or something like that. So and he real quickly said yes. So the most important is ask. If you don't like to video invite, try to stand out, but just ask, right? And if you want to see examples, I think I have over 200 video invites that I've made so far, and you can find them on my YouTube channel. So type in Become a Fearless Father, you will find the channel and you can check it out, right? So that's what one of the things that I did. Now, the other advice that I can give you that I did at the beginning, it's an advice, and I will change it when we come to the end, but that's how I started out. When you do a live interview, you got to prepare, right? So you investigate who you're going to have on the show, and you're going to prepare your questions. Okay. Now, it is of utmost important that you prepare your questions in a story. So you make a story out of it, and that's what you share with the person. Tie it up with the question. Okay. Now, my mistake was I've written the whole story down. So when I was, and so I started going like this. People were looking at my head, and then I came up, and I said, okay, that person would go, and he would be looking at my head, right? So I would be talking. I can't, that doesn't work. I don't have a partner that can sit in, but the screen would split right in the middle. You would see us both. Then I would show the one screen and the guy that I'm talking to, because now, of course, I'm like basically not talking to anybody. Like I know Paul's here, Nadia's here, and if somebody else is here, please say hi so I know who else is here. But I'm basically not talking to anybody, right? So is your guest. So if you're not looking at that person, you are not building any connection, and your live interview is not going to be as good. And that's what happened to me at first. Like people were just looking at my head, and I was reading the next question's story, and I didn't connect. All right, so that was a big mistake. So at that point, what I would do is I would take the download from Zoom. I would put it. It would go directly live on Facebook, and I would put it then later on YouTube. I would take an audio from that, and I would put that in the membership area that I had. So YouTube, so video and audio on the membership. I had no podcast at that moment, at my beginning journey, right? So those were some of the good things that happened, right? Immediately start asking, and not just asking anybody, right? I knew Dadpreneurs is my group, right? So I started asking, I started inviting pretty quickly guys like Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, who else can I say that was funny? Ludacris, right? Somebody insane that I thought, I admire the guy. I thought that'd be cool. So just look at who fits and then invite people. I invited 2 moms actually as well, because I thought they had a really cool story. And I invited a couple of guys that were not dads, but that had a good message to share with dadpreneurs, right? And also there, I made a lot of changes, which I will share in a minute. Okay. Also, for those of you that are online, 1, I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. 2, if you have any questions in between, just put it in the comment section. And again, if you don't have any questions, just say hi. Let me know real quick so I know who's here. It's easier when I'm talking, right? So I will go to the next part, right? The mid section, because that first section, we're talking about the first, I think like 30, 40, yeah, but 30, 35 live interviews. And I wasn't happy because I was starting to notice after going over that period of being really nervous. So I forgot to share, but man, my first interviews, I was nervous, right? And as I said, one of the first few was that 2.5 million following Antonio Centeno. So I was really nervous with him. And that's just going through it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to ask weird questions maybe, or wrong questions. The guy's not going to have an answer. Now, I was lucky though. It didn't happen, right? But, it happens. And one of the things that I also did was I started out and I first introduced the person. And if I would be sitting here talking to you from the beginning for 5 minutes about who I am, you'd leave, because nobody's interested in hearing who I am. Right? But right now, I gave you some value in regards to my first part of the journey. If now I would go, hey guys, my name is Klaas, right? I won't bore you with my last name. It's difficult to pronounce anyway, right? And I am the founder of Become a Fearless Father. And I made it my mission to change the lives of 1 million dads to become fearless, right? And one of the ways I do this is by setting up live interviews, for example. And that's the journey that I want to share with you right now. Now, that's a little bit more interesting because you already got the value, and then it's like, okay, and now I can continue, right? So that's also some of the things that I changed. So next step, halfway, what did I change? I only started writing down the topics. So I no longer started writing down the whole story. I just tried to come up with that in my head. And I just started writing down the topics that I thought that the person that I'm interviewing had definitely interesting content to talk about. And what I would do is the best topic to talk about with this person would be my first question. So I learned that from Owen Hemseth. He's the guy from Owen Video, for example, or he's known as Owen Video. Fantastic in regards to video interviews and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you check him out as well. So this guy, when he came on, he took over my show pretty much. And he just started like, I want to talk about vision. And he just started going boom. And it was absolutely fantastic. And then after that, we talked about, him sharing who he is, right? And I highly recommend that because that's what people want. So that's one of the changes that I made, and I started noticing. At this point, I'm still using Zoom, by the way, which I'm not using right now, as you know, but I'll get into that in a minute. I was also still sending out 7 invites every single week. The good thing was where in the beginning, I would get 1, max 2 responses. Now I was getting like 3, 4, and in a really lucky week, 5 responses of people interested in setting up a live, comment on my show. Right? So that was really cool. So one of the things that I did, let me see. Yeah, I got an example here. One of the things that I also started doing pretty quickly in the beginning, I made these postcards, right? This is white on the back, thank you on the front, just to say, hey, look, I really appreciate you coming on my show. It's not something very expensive, but I've taken the time to write a personalized note, and people really enjoyed this. Now, I changed this later on, which I'm going to talk about as well, which I'm going to try and find an example while I'm talking, which I like better and highly recommend. But let me get into that in my last part when we are at the end. All right, so that said, I, at that point, also started going on putting the live interviews on a podcast, right? So now it's Facebook Live and on Zoom, YouTube, membership area, and podcasting, right? And I used at that time and still to edit a little bit of the live interviews. I used what's it called, Premiere Pro, right? To edit it a little bit and to change it into audio and to change it into a video, and I post it on YouTube and I post it on the podcast, right? So that's it. Again, guys, if you're online, you're watching this, you got any questions, let me know. If you haven't said hi yet, please let me know as well so I know who's online listening. And that was my mid-journey, more or less. I still wasn't happy because there was hardly any engagement, right? Now, there's several reasons for that, and I will jump into that in the end. So the end part, right? I made a lot of changes again. Right now I'm using StreamYard. I stopped using Zoom. Now I'm using StreamYard. StreamYard goes directly, and Nadia, these are probably all of your questions right now. I use StreamYard to go directly onto Facebook. StreamYard you can also use to go directly onto YouTube. StreamYard you can use to go either live on your profile, on your page, or directly in your group, which I really like, right? And the awesome thing is I got my logo already in there. I think it's over there, right? I can see how many people are live right now, right there. How many liked it so far. I can see how long I've been going live. You can see my name, right? And I can make that even a little cooler. Awesome, Paul. Okay, cool. So it helped me a lot because now I didn't have to edit. Before, when it came from Zoom, I had to edit. I had to put in the logo, and every time it was mixed. I'm not good with Premiere Pro. But now I don't have to because my logo is always the same size. It's always in there. The color of my name, it's changed. It's the color of the color red that I use, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do. It's really easy, and I can't do that right now because I don't have any guests, but it's really easy to switch. Like I can put the split screen, have us both. I can have somebody else. I can share my screen. They can share their screen. So it's pretty cool. I can show some other things as well. So I'm very excited about StreamYard. Plus, my expenses went down 60%. So StreamYard is costing me $25 a month. And they have I'm going to be honest right here, they have a affiliate program. So if you don't use StreamYard and you want to use it, let me know. So you give me the opportunity to send you my link. It costs $25 for everybody that describes. The one that suggested gets $25. So it's pretty cool. And actually, I already got 3 invites since I just started using this 3 months ago. So I'm still using it for free. So that's pretty awesome as well. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm very excited about StreamYard. I chose to StreamYard instead of BeLive. Maybe you heard of that. It's the same kind of thing. However, somebody told me that BeLive was actually being kind of glitchy. So I said, look, I'm going to listen to this guy. He's done it a little bit more than I did. Now, what I also like about StreamYard is if like I did today, and I don't know if you've seen that, but before I went actually live this morning, I already put everything in StreamYard that was going to go live today at 5 p.m. CET, right? My time. People can see that right away on Facebook and can comment, can leave a heart. I can leave a link, right? I always leave this link so people can click on it and get into my Messenger bot so I can get connected with them. I can show, see how cool this looks, right? I can show this. I can show Nadia. I can show Paul taking notes, right? It's pretty cool to show these kind of things. So StreamYard is very cool. And then from that post on Facebook, I can already share it. So I shared it in, Nadia, you saw this in the group. So I shared this already in our group. I shared this in my group. I shared this on my Facebook page. I can share it pretty much anywhere I want within Facebook, right? So that is also really, really cool. So that was upgrade, like huge upgrade number 1. The only thing that was a little less cool, with Zoom, I would get the download directly on my computer. With YouTube, however, with StreamYard, however, I have to download it from Facebook. But hey, look, if that's the worst thing, then I'm okay, right? So the other thing, I am hardly doing 7 invites anymore, right? I haven't done any video invites for at least 2 months. And the reason for that is that I started making a new change. So what I started doing, and this is one of the biggest, not mistakes, but learning experiences that I highly recommend anybody that's thinking about starting live interviews to do straight from the bat. And that is have at least 1 question in there when you finish. So you end your broadcast, you finish, you just, you make sure that you tell your guy, hey, or a girl that you're interviewing, like, hey, once we finish, please stay on for a couple of minutes. I got a couple of questions, right? So I do the following. I ask them 3 questions. Question number 1 is, I had an amazing time with you on my show. Thank you so much for coming on. All I'm looking for is guys like you. Like, sorry, for me, it's guys, because now I only interview dappreneurs. Like, I'm looking for amazing dappreneurs who like I can get a great connection with, right? And can you suggest me anybody? That so far has been by far the best thing I've done for making sure, because this was one of the questions from somebody in the group as well. How do you make sure that you have great guests on? That guaranteed. That hasn't filled yet. Like, out of 100 live interviews, I had 1 that was horrible. And it was my mistake. I didn't check it out well. And it was 1 that had absolutely nothing to do with that I would never invite in my life. And it was also my mistake. I didn't check it well enough, right? However, connected, best ever. So that's advice. The other one is then say, hey, look, as a thank you, I want to send you something. Can you share with me your physical address, right? And now, just so people understand, I decided to start doing this. So I turned it, instead of a postcard, I turned it into a letter. Right? I fold it, I got an envelope, and I send it in a letter. Why? It's a bit more guaranteed that it arrives, right? I went from 30% that it actually arrived at people's places to 60 or 70 maybe. I still have to check with a couple of people, right? And that helps. Like guys like Akbar Sheikh, for example, then saying like, oh man, this is awesome. Guys like Aaron Walker and Wally Carmichael that are out there, that've written their own book, that they're crushing it left and right. then receiving private messages from those guys saying, hey man, this is so awesome. One was actually saying like, dude, my wife just kicked my ass, that I need to step up my game and do this kind of stuff, right? That is awesome. So I highly recommend that. And then the third thing is that I ask, and you don't have to do it, but it really helps for me building the relationship with the person, saying, like, I stop everything and I just look into the camera and say, look, man, how can I serve you? And then I'm just quiet and I'm just waiting, right? I'm not doing that to build a relationship. I'm doing that because I honestly want to serve the person that took the time to be on my show for an hour and give all that valuable golden nuggets, right? But besides that, it really helps with building your relationship with that person, right? So you got that at the beginning, and then after that, like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, they get that letter, man, your connection with that person goes off the roof. And then just from there, it just helps you out. Like I talked to one guy and he got me 5 new guys that were absolutely insane on the show within 2 weeks. All right. So I can't stress on that enough. That's very important. You make your own questions, of course, but try to interact a little bit after the show. It's very important. What else? I stopped the membership area because it was just too much time consuming. And I continued doing Facebook, YouTube, and the podcasting. Right now, that's it. I wrote down StreamYard twice. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Just post them real quick in the comment section. I can see them and I can answer them for you. What else have I learned? Let me think real quick. That absolutely was a game changer. The topics, as I said. So what I would do, let me see if I can find. Oh, here we go. A live interview that I haven't done yet. Right. So this guy's coming on this Wednesday. So this is it. This is my preparation. Just one question. That's like the biggest, rack question. Then let's talk about him, and then I just write down topics. Here's a trick as well that really helped me engage with the person. I always try to look in the camera. I always got my notebook and my pen, and I'm writing things, not just for the sake of writing to get more feedback from them, right? But for learning from them, and then for really like, oh yeah, he said that. I want to know more about that because I don't have that in my topics, right? And there's some live interviews that I had 10 topics to talk about, and we crushed, like we touched 3, and it just went. But most of the times, those are like by far the best interviews, because you're really connecting and it's vibing. You're not even looking at your paper anymore. You're just taking notes, and that's absolutely insane. So one of the things that I mentioned as well that I do is I switch screens. Like you can see my big screen right now. I would switch it half and switch it back. I am not sure yet what's the best method there, right? So I have to talk to some people that don't switch to see why not, and talk to some people that do switch, why they do. Or maybe I should just not worry about it and continue doing it like this. All right. Let me see real quick, because Nadia has it. What podcast app do you use? Was it Zoom? I was a few minutes late. Yeah, so I used Zoom and I stopped. So now I use StreamYard. And from StreamYard, I go straight to Facebook, right? It's cheaper and it's way better. And I didn't mention that, but my engagement during live interviews now has gone off the roof. Like it 100% more engagement than I had when I was using Zoom. Like I would use Zoom more for like if I would have, if I could invite Akbar Sheikh on the show to do like a special interview for just my email list or something, right? Or my diehard fans, I would use Zoom, but I wouldn't go live on Facebook or YouTube. I wouldn't do that. Like I would keep it closed and have it would be more like for getting people to buy something from me if I want to sell something, or join me on a program that I've planned and go on a beta tour or whatever it is, right? So right now I just excuse me, I highly recommend using StreamYard. And Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, Nadia. My pleasure. So that said, I think I covered everything. Nadia, do you still have some questions? Because I know you've written some questions, but I think I covered all of them. I don't want to go on too long, so I will promise you, Nadia, if you're also thinking about doing solo lives, that I will do another live for you and for the others in the group. If anybody else, Paul, if you're watching this and listening still, if you're also interested in hearing more about how I do my solo lives, yes, I will definitely be willing to share. It's different. It's easier, a lot easier, right? Because this I got to download and then I got to edit a little bit, etc. And with solos, it goes a little different. So yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know right now. I might miss some things. If you have any questions afterwards, let me know. If you're thinking about going live and I'm so ready, but I'm nervous, I'm afraid, I don't know what to do, send me a message, PM me, DM me, whatever it's called. I'll be happy to help. If you go live and you want to interview something and you want to test something, you want to try something out first, like I did with Alan Dean, right? He made a secret closed group on Facebook, invited me to the Facebook group. I said yes, and we went live on StreamYard for 5 to 10 minutes just to try everything out, talk a little bit, get the nerves out, see how it looks afterwards. Please, just let me know. I'll be happy to help. I know how scary it is to do this stuff. As I said, I will reach number 100 this Wednesday, right? So this Wednesday we're going to celebrate. And to be honest, I might have already reached 100, but don't tell anybody because I'm not sure. I'm a little lost, but that's okay. But yeah, if you want to do that, then let me know. As I said, the best thing to do is just do it. It doesn't matter. There's not that many people that are going to see you at first. Actually, nobody's going to hold it against you. And if you're smart, really smart, and it's something that I didn't do. However, I would do that now differently. Before starting a podcast, I would go live for short periods of time with like the biggest people that I could get, that I could find, right? With the biggest audiences. Let's say 5. 5 is a nice number to start with. Invite them, go live, have like an amazing live interview, and then ask them if they want to share it as soon as you start your podcast, if you haven't started a podcast yet. Why? Because if you start off your podcast and if you can boom podcast on YouTube, you will get featured more and you'll grow way faster, right? That's the one mistakes of the things that I made as well. I didn't do that. I just started a podcast and then found out like, oh, wait, I'm almost at 2,000 downloads after I got it now for 5 months, 6 months, right? But there's this other guy that started. He's got 5 episodes on it. He went boom and he got like 80 reviews, 5-star reviews, 5,000 downloads in 2 weeks. The guy is killing it. And important is then to say, freaking heck yeah, that's awesome. How'd you do that? Learn from those people. Celebrate those people, promote those people, right? If you starting out, make sure you promote other people that have a podcast or a live interview show. Promote them, tell them, watch their shows, learn from them. That's the best way as well. And then write reviews for those shows, right? 5-star reviews, tell them how amazing their show is. Subscribe on their show, even if you don't watch it afterwards anymore. That is what helps everyone best to grow. Right? Like I've written tons of reviews on people's shows and even shows that women's shows, they're for mompreneurs. I don't care. Just 5 stars, boom, done. As I said, that's so important to do as well. All right, so no more questions. And I'm noticing that I'm starting to talk a little bit just to talk to make sure that I've answered all of your questions. Great, Paul. I appreciate that. So I will promise then I will try as soon as possible to go live again. I don't know when at the moment because I got some things planned for during the week. However, I will go live again and share about my solo lives. It won't be as long, but I can definitely share that journey as well, which has been a fun journey also. All right, so thank you so much for watching this. I hope it was valuable. I hope it helps. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I love to serve, and especially people in my group, especially the course that we're about to take, and Paul knows especially my fellow Dadpreneurs. All right, so enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Take care. Bye bye.